Hi investigators, Mike Evans and Casey Pine here with this week's riveting episode of What's Happened in the Private Investigation Industry throughout Australia, episode 223 of Spy Curious for the investigation industry news this week for government, corporate and private investigators. How are you, Casey?
I am fantastic. Happy it's Friday.
What's been happening this week?
Well, I have some more news and you guys are the first to hear it. You guys are going to get sick of me, but I'm now a Australian Women's Small Business Championship Awards finalist. So the finals are in Sydney in September. So hopefully I'm in the information technology category, so hopefully I will be able to take away another award, but like just being a finalist, I'm stoked. So
that's pretty good. G'day, Colin. Thanks for checking in, mate. Good to see you.
Colin.
And people typing in #spy in the chat, even if you've won something before. So we've been limiting it. If you won before, you couldn't go in, but now type in #spy. G'day, Craig. Great to see you, mate. Hope you're well, Craig. It's been a busy week for you. And Australian Security Academy's most recent graduate, there he is with his certificate in his postbox today. G'day, Freddie. Congratulations, Casey, from Freddie. Great to see you, people. Thanks for letting us know you're watching. Please put #spy in the chat and you'll go in the draw in about 20 minutes' time. You might win the third class surveillance coffee mug. So grab your opportunity. G'day, Tony, down in Adelaide, mate. Great to see you. Hope everything's well down in Adelaide. And thanks, Colin. Thanks for letting us.
Thanks, Colin.
Congratulations. Okay, so yeah, it's been flattening out everywhere in Australia with investigations this week. Had a question. These are the questions I've got to answer this week. So in the Australian Security Academy Investigation Business Opportunities elective, your investigation business part one, you mentioned 2 investigators, 1 blind and 1 deaf. Can you unpack that for us and how does that work? That's our first question for this week. Unfortunately, the deaf one has passed away some year ago now, so I won't really talk about him, but he was able to be a private investigator. He did desktop investigations, as you see Casey do, and he did it for some 33 years. So yes, he was deaf, but the one that was blind is this one, giving me a cuddle, and his name is Andrew Chambers. And Andrew retired 3 years ago, just at the start of the pandemic, not because of the pandemic, but he was at the retirement age, and Andy is actually blind. And if you go back to this program, Spy Curious, in October 2022, you'll actually see his book that he wrote, Problem Solved, The Blind Investigator. Casey's got a copy of it sitting on her bookshelf. Don't go and get it, Casey, leave it there. Okay, and Andy was, for the 17 years that I knew him until his retirement, totally blind. And he was able to be investigator. G'day, David. How you going, my friend? Good to see you. Thanks for checking in. So yes, Andy ran the Pinkerton's investigation agency. He owned, operated and controlled it, established it and grew it to the platform it is today, which has gone on bigger and better, thanks to Andy's contribution to it. So yes, blind. And I first met him at an interview I had with him. A lady named Tanya was walking him into the room, and Tanya was escorting him into the room, and I didn't know what was going on because nobody told me. He couldn't see. He came and sat down with me. And for the next hour, all I did was laugh, not at him, but with him. He's blind. He's got one leg and he's Scottish. He's more Australian than you. It's recently from Scotland. So a lot of things going against him there to be a private investigator, a very successful one. And if you go on Australian Story and look at the program that we've featured in this series quite often about the school teacher who was charged with sexual assault and jailed for the sexual assault of 2 primary school children in Victoria. And then later she was released and the charges were withdrawn. She actually went to jail for it. Then she was exonerated because of Andy's good work when that lady's sister engaged Andy to be their private investigator and find out the truth of the matter. So problem solved. It's all about it in there. The blind investigator is feeding him. Yes, he is blind. He has one leg, yes. And he has had a couple of interviews on this program if you go back through the series and want to see them. I think most of them were in January of this year. In case you actually interviewed him, didn't you?
I did. Fantastic. Funny.
And all you did was laugh.
Yeah.
Because that's
Great
what
book.
he's like. If you want to see a person with a positive mindset, and he's got it. So that was my first question for this week. People that get on our Australian Security Academy jobs page on Facebook, that's where you're going to find, or no, that's not the Australian Security Academy jobs page. This is. That's where you're going to find the job vacancies for private investigators, corporate investigators, and government investigators. Just type in Australian Private Investigator, Corporate and Government Investigation jobs. You have to answer 2 questions. Are you an Australian resident? And are you looking for work as an investigator? You answer that and I will give you access to that program where you'll see lots of jobs that are available. If you want a job in Victoria and you want to start on Monday, get in contact with the Seeker Group. There's their website there. If you contact them today, just about guarantee you'll start Tuesday morning. So get in touch with them. That job and many others are here on that Facebook page. Quite a few of the jobs are not advertised. They just come direct to me and they ask me to send them students. And here's an example I've been showing. It's still vacant.
My client is an established 30-year investigation agency with multiple contracts with insurance companies around Australia. They are seeking CTP liability investigators down in Melbourne, Victoria. And they've said to me, send every graduate, no experience required, no experience necessary. They must be a licensed private investigator and an Australian Security Academy graduate student and a member of an industry association. Send your resume to michael@riskoz.com. Please don't ask me for details about it. If you're interested in work, apply. What a fabulous opportunity to get in and get a start in investigations in Australia.
So people, that job is there available at the Facebook page. Okay, no experience required. None. They don't want someone with baggage. They want someone who's an emerging investigator, who's licensed, who's trained by the Australian Security Academy by Pat. Okay, so keep that in mind. It's a wonderful opportunity. You're typing in hashtags by people, please keep going. Yep, type it in. Oh, your football team are playing my football team, and I think my team are going to win by 15 goals. So that's just
15. Okay.
Yeah. I'm very confident. Okay, so I'll replay that forecast next week just to rub it in with Mr. Loser there with his comment. Good on you, mate. Great to see you. Hope you're well, buddy. Okay, in the news this week around the place, before we get to Casey's tip of the week, there's been some interesting and some terrible news all around the country this week. This is the interesting one. Phil Egan has been charged with, by the Victorian Police Fraud Squad in relation to 73 allegations of fraud within Indigenous communities. He's denied it, come out of the press, totally denied it. They've got to prove it. So with a fraud case, it's going to be beyond a reasonable doubt. they've got to prove that. He's confident that he didn't do it. And fraud cases are very, very hard things to get up on. People can say, oh, seasonal factors, or during the pandemic, or someone else was in charge of that area, they've since left, we can't find them. There's all sorts of excuses for fraud. And in Victoria, they have a thing down there where it's fraud by deception. It's the only state that has it. They might refer to deception in it somewhere along the way, but in Victoria, it's specifically fraud by deception. If you want the police to run with an investigation for you in Victoria in relation to fraud, you have to say to them, fraud by deception, and they will run with it, and pick up on it and go with it as well. So that's something that's interesting in the news. This one always surprises me. These are never, ever good, but it's the absolute opposite of what you'd think. So we've got a school teacher. She's been charged with 74 offences of indecent treatment of children. So she's been grooming children. This is on the Gold Coast, came out this week. So there are allegations. She's been charged. They haven't proven it yet, but it's a lady. And that's where I always got it wrong. I always thought it was creepy, middle-aged, old, and far from it. There are a whole range of people that groom children, so that's a bit sad. On the positive side, down in Victoria, 37 compensation fraudsters at Worksafe Victoria have been given the flick, and you can jump on the Worksafe website in Victoria and you can see all about who's been given the flick from their benefits down there, and the list of other cases that's there in relation to it. Another question that I got this week was, with the help for assessments at the Australian Security Academy. So when you go into your Moodle resources and stuff like that, you go down to the assessment section and you'll see a thing that says, need help with the assessments? What we have set up there are breakout groups. Like when you used to go to class back in the day and you were dismissed into another room with some butcher's paper or an electronic whiteboard or whatever, right? And you used to write on that and come back into the big training area and present that. That's what we have in those breakout groups with some of the ideas that are discussed by a class. Now, is that cheating? No, it's what you do in a class if you participated in that. And not all the answers are there, but there's some really good ideas. So where it says, need help with the assessments, click on it. Look at what's there, add in your answers. You can't copy and paste it, right? So add in what you think and add from your experience, and you'll really up your submission with that help. It's there to help you in your Certificate 3 in Investigative Services. Childcare worker on the Gold Coast is charged with 91 cases of child abuse. So they're separate cases, and that ran for over 10 years or maybe even more. He was putting up the videos on the dark web and got caught finally when they identified 7 sheets in the background from a childcare centre. So that's how they narrowed down their suspects in that case. And you can Google that and see how the police did that on the Gold Coast. One other quick question. Are you best trying to specialise in one aspect of private investigating, i.e. skip tracing, document survey, insurance investigating, when you become a licensed private investigator? Your course, Certificate 3 in Investigative Services at the Australian Security Academy, will assist you with all of those. So what you want to be is the solution investigator for any employer. So you'll be doing skip tracing, you'll be doing workers' compensation investigations, personal injury, workers' compensation investigations, psychiatric injury. If in some states you have done a suicide assist program, but other states, doesn't matter, they don't care, it just depends which state you live in. So Victoria has that issue where you have to do that, other states they don't care. So in Tasmania, you can go straight into doing psychological stress claims. You'll be doing general insurance claims. Depends on the place where you apply for and do your work. Now, the no experience required advertisement you just saw, which is real, okay, and they will take you on and they will grow you into it and help you into it. They won't rip you off or call you a trainee or anything like that. They consider once you are licensed and qualified that you can do the work, but they're going to help you, onboard you and grow you, because that capacity builds their organisation and helps them to compete against everybody else, and they want that. And they've been doing that for over 30 years. So they're going to help you with their specialist area, which is TAC investigations. Now, they might be done in New South Wales because people from New South Wales have accents in Victoria. They might be done from Queensland. Who knows? So that's a big opportunity. We are seeing people now getting licenses in each state. So maybe a license in Victoria, a license in Tasmania, a license in Queensland and New South Wales. And they're doing investigations online and interviewing people online, but they have to be licensed in the state where they are conducting those investigations. So keep that in mind. So don't specialise in one thing, be open to everything. You will find that you will start to develop expertise in certain areas. That's when you specialise. But have a big holistic look first. Okay. What have you got for us this week?
Absolutely. Just to add to that, being a jack of all trades when you first start, and just saying yes to everything is just fantastic, because you don't know necessarily what you might like or what you don't like, or you might find that you're really good at a certain area of investigations. So give everything a whirl, because why not? It's your career, your future, and you can just continuously sharpen your skill set as you go along, especially with Investigations Uni and the Spy Curious and things like that. There's plenty of opportunities. So yeah. Now this week I've had a lot of fun playing with this. So this is called Dork GPT, and it's just dorkgpt.com. And you type into this, it's AI for Google Docs, which is really exciting. I love this. If you listen to me at all, you know I love Google Dorking or Google hacking or using Google properly, but we tend to call it Google Dorking. So in here, you can type in what you would like to search for. So just for this example, I typed in first, I just typed in a person's OnlyFans. So, and it'll show you, like, you've got your site operator, onlyfans.com, and then in inverted commas, you would put their name, and that would be the person that you would be looking at. So you'd put their name in there, and I'm sure it would bring up the person's OnlyFans. And then I thought, oh, that's not the best example. So I thought I'd have a look at something else. And say you were looking for a news article on a fire in Hobart in 2001. And it brought me back a dork. So you click copy dork, and then you head over to Google and you paste it in, and it brought up 1,850 results, which is fantastic, because I'll show you what it looks like. If I just typed in what I typed into the Google Dork, to the Dork GPT, a news article on a fire in Hobart, it brings back over 22 million results. And that's not what we want. We want to narrow it down. That's why we use Google Dorking, to be specific and use Google in a very tailored way. So as you can see here, we've got the only 1,850 results and a whole bunch of news articles. We've got PDFs, which are fantastic. I love finding PDFs, and you'll be able to get really good information from that. So have a play with this. Great fun. Just have a think about the different things that you Google, the different things that you research as an investigator, maybe even different pivot points. If you're looking for maybe someone's LinkedIn, you could type in that you're looking for a specific person in LinkedIn, and it'll easily bring up that dork for you. And because we have to keep all of these dorks in mind, I tend to have a list, but sometimes if you just forget, super simple way, type in here what you want, and it'll bring up the generated dork for you. So fantastic use of AI in investigations there.
I think all the dorks are going to like that. It sounds pretty good. Geez, it's hot in Gold Coast this afternoon. I'm choking here at the moment. Sorry, people. Don't mean to be rude, but okay. Very good, Casey. Thanks for that. That's really. I've probably got a couple for you over the weekend now, so cancel everything for the weekend.
No way.
There is a Hobart in America, I do know that. Do you believe private investigating is becoming saturated field and employment increasingly difficult to obtain? No. Absolutely not. They're doing this for over 30 years. You might hear rumours. You might see knobs commenting in Facebook groups in relation to whatever. It's like any other job. It evolves. It changes. It ain't going to be the same as it was 5 years ago. Neither is nursing. Neither is fire and rescue. Neither is policing. Neither is carpet laying or budgerigard breeding. It all changes. Okay? None of those are saturated. In fact, here we are on the 4th of August 2023, and I have got unlimited jobs in every state and territory for Australian Security Academy graduate students, and it isn't saturated. All right? If you are not working as a private investigator at this time, at this moment in time, and for the next foreseeable 5 years in an unsaturated market, then it's going to be very difficult for you to ever get work. But send me your resume for an Australian Security Academy student. I will introduce you to the employers. How many investigators are there? This time last year, there was only 5,741 investigators. Now, I know for a fact, by the end of this month, there'll be 130 that won't be on that list in Victoria anymore because of a fraud committed by a registered training organisation from Queensland with International Security Training Academy in Victoria up until 2020. So those will all automatically expire and will not be able to be renewed. So that's 120 off that list that you just saw there. So there are not a saturated market in Victoria or anywhere else in Australia. So there are jobs in investigations. You do not have to do marital and relationship surveillance and that sort of investigation. There are real continuous work out there for private investigators. And like I said, if you go to this Facebook page, you'll see them in action. If you go to this YouTube page, you'll see past jobs there listed and you can see and compare your skills against those. So be confident, people. The opportunities are out there. Andy, who I just talked about the other day, his organisation employed 4 people less than 2 weeks ago from the Australian Security Academy as full-time investigators and was paying $120,000 a year, not a week. Nobody pays $120,000 a week. It feels like I pay that, doesn't it, Casey? But here's another example. This organisation, Clarity Investigations, are seeking factual investigators anywhere in Australia. Doesn't matter where you are, they want to engage you. Since January 2023, Clarity Investigations have engaged and put on 23 Australian Security Academy graduates, and they're looking for more. So if you want work as a licensed factual circumstance investigator, get in touch with Clarity. You will not go wrong with Matthew, Vince and the team at Clarity Workplace Solutions. 20 investigators from the Australian Security Academy they've employed since, actually 21 as of this week. There is no saturation of investigators, licensed private investigators. It is a demand industry. It's vibrant, it's growing, It's not getting any less. The population is bigger than it's ever been. And, all right, there might be some population shifts around the east coast of Australia from Victoria to Queensland and New South Wales, etc. Doesn't mean there's any less work. All right. So for Australian Security Academy graduate student, get in touch with me and I'll get you in touch with the employers. There's no excuse for not working as a licensed private investigator today. It's a really exciting career.
Quantum Corp in New South Wales are seeking 3 surveillance investigators to conduct surveillance investigations in New South Wales. You'll need to be licensed and experienced in surveillance, have all your appropriate vehicles and equipment, willing to take direction. You better be willing to start at 4 o'clock in the morning some days, have initiative, be computer literate, willing to face a challenge, not run away from a scary situation, and work well in a team environment. You must have good time management skills. All investigations are limited by time. There's no such thing as what you see on TV, an open-ended investigation that can go forever and a day without a conclusion. No one pays for that. So this is a great opportunity with Quantum Corp and your surveillance manager Kylie to support you. Don't miss this one. Apply to Quantum Corp today.
Don't miss it. Great place to work for. They want factual investigators too. And if you are a factual investigator and a graduate student, I will make you an introduction to you to the actual employer at that organisation. I'll introduce you to them, send me your resume, and you will get my highest recommendation because I know that you studied the right course and what you've done in your course. And you've got examples of statements that you've taken, that's what they're interested in at Quantum Corp. So we've got some more questions here. I'll just come to them. They're here somewhere. In your opinion, what would be an average income for a full-time 40 to 50-hour investigator that's just starting out? Well, that's a great question. If I was just starting out, I'd want to know that. When I just started out, I was earning something like $15 an hour.
Oh, God.
Getting 10 cents a kilometre. This is what I was earning, right? And I was making a fortune.
Mm.
I really was. Okay. Now, a beginner, right? An emerging beginner that's done the worst course in Australia, doesn't know how to take a statement, doesn't know the difference between a record of interview and a statement, and couldn't write a report and spell the name correctly, right? If they're licensed, they're on $40 an hour starting out. And I started out on 15. All right. So the whole thing that comes into it is what type of work you're going to do: general insurance, workers' compensation, psychological injury, physical injury, motor vehicle accident, CTP liability. It all depend on those things. The big demand areas: CTP liability, public liability, and workers' compensation. If you're doing those types of investigations, you should be aiming for an absolute minimum in your first year. I don't think you'll be doing 35 or 40 hours a week in your first year. You might have to warm up, win the confidence of 3 or 4 employers and warm up slowly. So, I would estimate conservatively $60,000 in your first year, but you're not going to be working 45, 50 hours a week to do that. Keep that in mind. As you get better at it, as you grow in confidence, they are going to assist you, grow you, onboard you, develop you, you improve your statements and your report writing very quickly. Anyone with 5 years industry experience or more is earning a lot more than that. And that's just how it goes. It comes over time. Like a police officer. First of all, after your 40 weeks training at the academy, you're a uniformed constable assisted by a sergeant who you never go to the side of. That's what you are when you start. Later on, with a couple of years experience, and so they show your enthusiasm and your initiative and all that sort of thing, and you arrest a few bad guys, you can become a detective and you can get promotions and pay rises as a result of that experience. Every job is like that. So keep that in mind. They will grow you, they will help you. If you win, they win too. You are watching episode 223 of Spy Curious, Australia's only every Friday investigation news program. Prior to this today, we had Investigations Uni for our investigation students, which is our study support program, where we had Diva lead with the right mindset. Now, the reason we had that presentation was because something that Warren, who was on this program last week, said
is, aiming at becoming that person in the company that they needed every meeting to help them guide and support the company, and you're helping them make money and getting ahead, as opposed to just making sure the locks are sound. So that's what the security book is sort of about, and that's the main example I'd give of that, is trying to change the mindset of security managers, especially out of police and military, to be part of the business process. Understand the finance, understand work health and safety, understand HR, understand all these different facets of the business, and then at every stage try and help the business succeed.
So what he's talking about there is transitioning from the military and police into security risk management or investigations, and having that mindset. You're not a police officer or a soldier anymore. You are now part of a commercial business enterprise. And it's the same with you transitioning as a school teacher, as a swimming instructor, as a curtain installer, window washer, bus driver, taxi driver. We've had them all, okay? Diving instructor, home duties type person, or whatever. It's exactly the same. You're going to transition into investigations. And what Dr. Warren was saying there is, if you have the right mindset and you understand your responsibilities in assisting that organisation to be successful because of your training, your professionalism, your experience, you are going to thrive. So we had that mindset presentation today. It's the second time we've run it, and we've got very good feedback at the end of it. So keep in mind, you're going to succeed if you have the right pleasant approach. If you have the detective stick up your backside approach, they'll recognise it at the investigation agency straight away. You will not get past your first telephone call. Won't happen. Because they've got clients who they want treated with an open mind. And they've made those mistakes and they know what the warning signs are. So tone it down a little bit, be pleasant, have a customer service focus, have the right mindset. And we delivered on that today at Investigations Uni to encompass your future career success. This is an amazing work from home opportunity with vendor management. They've employed every one of our students that's applied to them at the Australian Security Academy. They're a great team at vendor management. They are supportive, they'll help you to succeed in the industry, and they have got work for licensed case officers to work from home all around Australia in investigations. So you'll be basically documenting verbal versions of events in statement form, reviewing claim documents, conducting detailed desktop investigations, conducting recorded interviews with the insured online through their case management system. So great opportunity. You don't even have to drive anywhere with a wonderful team, Asher and everybody else at Vendor Management in Brisbane, Queensland, seeking investigators all around Australia. Haven't looked at it yet, but I think there's one more question. We'll make Casey answer it. I don't know what it is. I haven't read it yet. Let's see. You present companies who are hiring. Do these companies expect you to have your own equipment, or do you predominantly bring your own equipment? Casey?
From my experience, you bring your own equipment. Especially if you're just subcontracting, which when you start out, you will be subcontracting to a number of different places, and don't go out and buy the biggest and the best. Don't down thousands and thousands of dollars. You can get cameras these days that do amazing things and are a fraction of the cost of what they once were. And you speak to Alex Evans, who is one of our investigation teachers, and he said that the most important thing that he has, and he uses the most important tool, is his phone. The video, the pictures it takes on it, it's just phenomenal. So get yourself your basic camera, you've got your phone. Try and like keep up with the phone technology because it's super handy. But yeah, you don't need to go out and spend tens of thousands of dollars on lenses. You can start basic. Even just speak to the employers that you're going to work for and just say if they have any suggestions. They like Mike says, they want you to succeed because they've taken the trouble to hire you. You've signed documents together, and yeah, they're going. The agencies around are super helpful, and they want you to succeed because they want their clients to be happy so that they get repeat work. So yes, but yeah, you have your own equipment.
Good reply. And if you think that was an ambush question without notice, and it was cool to do that to Casey in front of all the people watching, you should see what she's making me do tomorrow. Hey, people. I hope you typed in #spy because somehow I am going to have to try and do this again, and I get it wrong every week. Here we go. Hang on. Can you see it, Kate?
Yeah.
We got 4 entries. Everybody wants a coffee mug. Here we go. You got a 1 out of 4 chance, 25% chance. Todd, well done, Todd. Congratulations. Todd, you have to PM me your address where you want the mug sent to. It'll be sent by express post and will be down there before this time next week. So I can't send it to you if I don't know your address. So PM me your address and you will be the proud owner of the most stolen people from investigation agencies in Melbourne and Sydney. That's it. There are more of these sitting stolen, misappropriated in home offices around Australia than there are in the actual organisations that are supposed to have them. Very big demand item, designed by myself. Pretty amazing. I'm going for Business Person Elderly of the Year. Well done, Todd. Congratulations, mate. Colin, sent by express post, buddy, last Monday. So keep checking. If you have any trouble, let me know, mate. All right. And Todd is very happy because by default, his coffee mug says he's a private investigator. Well done.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I got your address last week, mate. Thanks very much. Yep. Just let me know if it's not there Monday. I'll send another one. It'll bounce back to me because it's got a return address on it. And I've got a tracking number actually somewhere in my receipts. So I will be able to track it, but any problems, let me know. So people, thank you very much for watching. That has been episode, you've been watching episode, where is it? Here we go.
223.
223. Amazing.
Is, you know,
Oh, totally lost here. 223 of Spy Curious, and it's supported by episode 57 with Diva Lee with the right mindset today, just beforehand, which is our student support program. Thanks, Craig. You have a great weekend, mate. I hope you enjoyed your coffee mug. Don't forget, last week, people, we had those books by Dr. Warren where you can get those on Kindle versions for a lot less expensively and very quickly. Have a great weekend, Freddie. Congratulations on graduating this week, mate. Well done. Don't forget, people, you are a member of the Association Investigation Risk Loss Adjusting Professionals. If you're an Australian Security Academy student, that's really important. That comes with your qualification. You have a document saying that. That means on your resume, you must put that you are a member of a professional industry association. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you again next week with more jobs, some more interest, and lots of fun.
작전 종료. 전원 복귀할 것.
That's our mission complete. Casey's got to run little puppy to the vet to make it check over and see that it's okay. What was the problem, Casey?
Just a UTI. Puppy things.
Puppies
She likes
do
to eat
that.
everything.
Very good. Thanks for coming in, Casey. Thank you for your tip. That was a beauty. Look forward to practicing with that. We'll see you next week, people. Thanks for
See you next
watching.
week, everyone.
And have a great week investigating. And good luck to the Bulldogs tonight, mate.